Right. So there's only one there. This is the Voss Yard. Has anyone got any problems with that?
That's great.
No, right. I'll put it all those in favour. Say aye.
Aye.
It's against passed.
What about Grid
yeah,
Auckland?
Councillor Penny H was second.
Grid Auckland, Mr. Chair.
Right, Grid AKL. It's just pretty much a operational issue. I'll move that.
Oh,
Seconder.
Mr. Mayor, am I able to speak to that? Or?
Yes, absolutely.
I just wanted to note the Grid Auckland, and I suppose ask the question as to whether having 15 growth businesses at a cost of $6 million ensconced in some of our most valuable land, if you like, where apartments are being sold for close to $5 million, was really a good location and good use of council money, given that $6 million has been put to this. Now, I've mentioned it as far as Scope Creep, Mr. Mayor, in the past, that where AT'd, the tourism budget seems to have flattened out. The major events budget has also kind of flattened out, but where we're seeing real growth in budget spend is around the topics of build a culture and innovation and a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship, which Grid Auckland $6 million down on the waterfront is part of. Attract business and investment, grow a skilled workforce, enable education. We're very quick, Mr. Mayor, well some are, to say that all this stuff is about facilitating, coordinating, no dollar impact on the ratepayer. But if you look at what Mr. O'Reilly sent us yesterday, there's massive impact on the ratepayer. Building a culture of innovation goes from 11 million current spend to 14 million. Attracting business and investment, 4.9 million. Growing skilled workforce, well that was always, we're not involved, we're just facilitating, hosting a few meetings. Well that's now up to 1.3 million. Enabling education and talent, again the rhetoric is always, oh that's not us, we're just pulling the parties together, government and the private sector and everyone else. Well that's again taking 1.1 million. So Mr. Mayor, I suppose my point on Grid Auckland is that's another nice to have. And I wonder, one, that being located in such a expensive part of Auckland, for argument's sake, and also where AT'd is heading with their expenditure growth being in and around this whole education, skills, culture, innovation and entrepreneurship. They tell us that no new money is being requested, but the numbers say something quite different.
Right. Okay,
And
thank
I
you.
agree.
Councillor Arthur?
Yep, I'll second this, but with all due respect to Cameron, the fact is that we're looking at the export drive from this and also the job opportunities, and that's what we're trying to develop here.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I've been a strong supporter of Grid AKL. It's been very effective. Now, one of the things that I'm a little bit mindful of here, councillors, by and large, we're trying to just have the debate. I know that this has been a bit of a moving feast on some things, and Councillor Cam wouldn't like to think that you wouldn't be supportive of the way in which this initiative is developed for want of appropriate reply. So what I want to do on this, and quite happy to have a vote on it, but it's a reasonable question asked. I don't have Brett O'Reilly here. CFO is about 5 minutes away. We'll deal with it at that time. All right. I just want the CFO to answer this question. I think it's an appropriate question. Right. Now, the second issue that we've got there is the RFA undertakes in good faith. So this deals with the concerns of hopefully some of those of you around the table who got a continuing concern relating to the strategy that RFA are carrying out. This resolution has been put together to give you a sense of the continuation of the discussion and the debate here. Given the fact that this wasn't really much in the way of a consultation around it, we've made a range of decisions already on this, but we are aware that there's continuing work and we've got a new CEO. And I think that it'll be very useful to get that CEO's view in the next 2 or 3 months. So, Councillor John Watts?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I'm glad to see this resolution up here. I just draw our attention to a couple of the key words or phrases in that resolution, and one that particularly stands out is good faith. So certainly assuming that there's going to be a genuine attempt to consult with the various codes that are involved in this.
Yep.
And the other key phrase, as far as I'm concerned, is consider all options, because I'm firmly of the opinion that there are a number of alternative options within the strategy that could eventuate in a far better outcome. I know you don't want to go to this debating the strategy itself. I understand that. But I do want to make a couple of points with respect of the budget that is in there, that appears on the capital spend. Basically, we've got a sum of 30 million for the strategy itself, and then we have a renewal budget of 35 million for the various stadiums, and conceivably we have other budget to maybe arise at some point in the future to finish off some of these projects such as they are. So it's not an insubstantial budget we're talking about here. This strategy that sees us here has been in operation since 2011. We're told by one of the RFA officers, and I would make the point, Mr. Mayor, that when that happened, it was quite a different financial climate than the one that we find ourselves in now as we go through this budgetary process. So I hope that's taken on board, that it's not the good old days of 2011. We're here in 2015. There's some hard decisions being made of priorities. So I hope that gets reflected in the options as well that we're talking about. I would just make a couple of quick points with respect of some of the budget that has been signalled in the strategy itself, particularly one as it goes to Western Springs, which the vast majority of that goes to the creation of a boutique cricket oval, and in respect of that, I would again put on the table whether that is that's going to be an adequate return on the ratepayer dollar. Essentially, we have a situation where in the last 10 years there's been 5 test matches played in Auckland, and if you look at the actual number of test matches played in New Zealand as a whole over the last decade, it's unlikely to be more than that, because basically New Zealand's cricket calendar averages about 3 to 4 test matches a year, and there are now, if you count Western Springs, 6 boutique stadiums. So what that essentially means is that because New Zealand cricket share their games around, it's very unlikely Auckland's going to get more than that one game every 2 years. So I would question then whether that is a satisfactory number of games to justify that investment, in particular when the governing body of the cricket has not been asked for any financial investment.
Yeah.
So we're not asking them for any money, as opposed to Hagley Park, where Canterbury Cricket had to come to the party. So it's the Auckland ratepayer that's fronting that whole of that 12 million. And as I understand it, that 12 million could grow, because I don't think it takes account of practice facilities, indoor nets, and the sort of facilities that are at Eden Park. So that's a concern I have with that particular budget. Auckland Cricket have said that they're not going to go there, which is something else. They're remaining at Eden Park, so that's another consideration. Finally, Mr. Mayor, just as far as Mount Smart Stadium goes, which is the other one that has a budget attached to it. Basically, that budget is to do with facilitating the kind of decommissioning of parts of Mount Smart, is what that really amounts to. Bottom half of the western stand, all the corporate boxes, plus a significant part of the eastern stand, which is $20 million worth of new stand that was put there by the ARC. So I would question whether that is a good return on a financial investment, given the amount of money that has been sunk in and invested over the years, and that's not a figure that we've had. We've had lots of other figures. We haven't had that particular figure. And I guess the other wider financial concerns, Mr. Mayor, that go to our budget across the council family, not just this particular series of line items is the effect on Auckland's economy. I don't think it's too big a jump to refer to the economy as a whole. If for instance, the Warriors are forced to move, there is going to be economic
Yeah, look, I'm not even going to go into there,
Well,
Councillor John.
we have ATEED
Yeah.
who invest in the Auckland Nines, don't they?
Yeah.
And there's money in their budget for that.
Yeah.
So I would suggest to you, as they have made quite clear, that there are wider potential economic effects to our budget if
Look,
these options aren't explored satisfactorily.
Of course they are. Look, Councillor John, the reason why we're moving this recommendation is basically to keep that issue moving.
Yes.
And so I'm pretty confident that we can do that without much more debate or discussion today, because it's quite clear that that discussion will carry on.
Okay, so I'll wrap
So
up.
let's
I'm glad that that discussion is carrying on, and I'm certainly hoping that the new CEO, Mr. Brooks, takes a central part in that, because that's going to be
Sure he will.
vital to whether this resolution has any skin in the game.
Now, I don't want repetitive comment here, all right? I'm being very, very clear that there is a lot in this agenda, and this one has got future discussions yet to have. Councillor Alf, you've been particularly concerned, so away you go.
Just a question to RFA if they're here.
Simon?
Simon was here. Simon.
The question, Your Worship, is with the budget that is for Western Springs, is that predicated on the Warriors moving post 2018?
No. Look, we're not going to get into this.
Sorry, Your Worship.
Councillor, please. That is the reason why. Look, we've got an agreed position, and what we're doing here with this recommendation is actually ensuring that there's a continued process with that. And we could sit here all day and ask about what's going on in our stadium strategy. That's not what this meeting's about. The meeting is basically about supporting or approving an underlying budget, and this has got a lot more work yet to go on it. And so what we're in particular asking for the new CEO to do is to get on his way and get around all these various clubs in terms of where we're at the moment and how we can go forward. So Councillor Alf, just in terms of asking specific questions about each part of this budget, it's not what this is about.